Good morning and welcome to the day one of my 3-day abundance energy immersion series, which is going to be on at 11 a.m. British summer time today, tomorrow and Thursday. So just while I wait for people to get logged on, I know some people are planning on joining me, which is great. Thank you for those that have already said they're here. They're going to be coming on. So I will just make sure I'm live on all platforms and let people log on and all those kind of things. So let me just refresh this. Yes, I'm really excited to be delivering this today. So for those of you who've already enrolled in Abundance Energy Academy, this is like a bit of bonus content. And for those of you who are still thinking about it, still on the fence, maybe it all seems a little bit woo, we're going to be breaking some of that down today to exactly what is the energy of abundance and how does it affect us in our daily life, in what we're able to manifest, how well we feel, how we function. And I'm going to be going a little bit into the sort of science of our connection to the universe. So anybody who knows me knows that I'm all about the energy. And for those of you who don't, I'm just going to explain a little bit about who I am and what I do. So it's not coming as a complete shock to you, basically. So, right, there I am. I can see me. That's super. Something like seeing yourself on camera, is that you just suddenly go, ooh. Right. So, yeah, this is day one of Abundance Energy Immersion. So, thank you for those of you who've said they're going to join me. And as I say, we're going to be looking a little bit about, we're not just going to be looking at the energy and the woo side of it, we're going to be looking at the spiritual side of it, and we're going to be looking at the science side of it as well, because actually science and spirituality are in fact two sides of the same coin. And I've spent a lifetime studying both a lot of spiritual teachings, but also science. I've been fascinated by quantum physics and quantum mechanics and quantum states of consciousness. And I've worked with some brilliant people to explore how we access that space in our mind, that quantum consciousness that is outside of time and space, because it's from that place that we access our truest self. It's from that place that we're able to manifest, and it's from that place that we connect intimately to this consciousness of the universe. Now, you can call that the Akashic Records, the field, collective consciousness, whatever you decide to call it. But it's there and we are intimately connected to it. So yeah, if you're joining me live, you can let me know that you're joining me live. If you're watching this on replay, let me know. So yeah, obviously I'm in the middle of promoting my new program, which is Abundance Energy Academy. Now this is a group mentoring program where I introduce you and guide you through a process of connecting with the very real energy that is all around you. We have this idea that there is space around us, just empty air, and there's actually nothing in it. Actually, that couldn't be farther from the truth. We are so connected to our environment. Every time we have a thought, a little thought, our mind creates what scientists and engineers would call a field. Now, a field is a range or a zone of influence. Now, if you want to guess, how far does the field or the range of zone of influence of your thoughts stretch? If you want to put a comment in, if you want to, have a guess, do you think it's 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 miles, 100,000 miles? How far do you think the field of your thoughts when you're thinking about something influences the universe? And the answer is actually quite staggering. It goes to the farthest reaches of the universe. Every time you have a thought, it creates an infinite field that goes out everywhere into the universe. And in that moment, you are quantumly connected to everything in the universe, because the universe is actually holographic. I am an image of the universe, and the universe is out there, and I am within that image. Think of it that way. So the same as our body is holographic, we are holographic, and the universe is holographic. So we can be intimately connected to all this energy around us. And when we put our intentions out there to create something, or we're filled with fear and worry and anxiety and stress, If we put that field out to the universe, then the universe will bounce that back at us, and we will counter manifest. We will get all the worst things that we were dreading. We will get the ill health, the lack of money, and, you know, the no clients, the business won't flourish, and all those kind of things when we're coming from a place of what they call scarcity mindset, that there isn't enough of everything in the universe. Well, the universe is pretty big. There's a lot of stuff in the universe, and there's certainly enough energy for us to create the life that we want. But this energy is not devoid of consciousness. The energy in the universe is consciousness. So quantum physics now has progressed from wondering whether there is consciousness in the universe, or are we the only things, to actually deciding that actually the universe is consciousness, and our individual lives are an expression of the mind of the universe trying to grow and develop. So the more we strive and grow and overcome struggle, the more the universe is learning and developing. So we are intimately connected and a part of this vast universe. Yet unfortunately, we're brought up in modern society to see ourselves as, this is me, separate from everything else. And we couldn't be farther from the truth. Our own body, our minds, our neurochemistry is far from under our control. Our moods, our productivity, everything within us is influenced by the world around us. And we're going to be looking at that over the next 3 days. So I'm just got to look at split screens, and I'm bare of very little brain. So morning Wendy, morning Asha, thank you for joining me. Great to see you. So if you've got any questions about energy, I can't guarantee I'll answer them all, obviously I might not know the answer, but if you've got any questions about energy, the universe, mind fields, all this stuff is sort of implicit in the law of attraction, but we're just told to kind of have faith, stay high vibe, and everything will work out. And actually there are fundamental truths missing from that concept, which is why the law of attraction fails for so many people. If it was so easy and we would just all could have to journal and think and stay high vibe, then we would all be manifesting the stuff that we want. But it's not actually that simple, because this energy around us is also conscious, and this energy around us co-creates with us. And when this energy around us is blocked and stuck, we cannot manifest, because we are in what I would call an infertile energetic environment. So what is this energy? So we've got some learning outcomes over the next 3 days. You'll see from the post. Sorry, I always sit in the wrong chair and I keep sliding off the front, disappearing slowly down. So what we're going to be looking at today is the learning outcome and number 1 on these, which is, what does it mean when we're living in an environment that is blocking external abundance? Now, in terms of geomancy, which is what I am a spiritual geomancer. I ought to explain a little bit about that for those of you who are new coming across me this morning. A geomancer is someone who in ancient times and in modern times studies the flows of energy of the earth. Now, some of these are very real. They're things like the Schumann resonance, electromagnetic forces, geomagnetic forces, which are generated by the energy, electromagnetic forces, which are generated by our modern livings, our Wi-Fi's, our mobile phones, our computers, everything, you know, dishwasher, TV, all have electromagnetic fields. And increasingly we're beginning to understand that these electromagnetic fields are negatively impact our health and our well-being, physically, mentally and emotionally. And a geomancer looks at the cosmic energy of the earth as well, because the earth emits all this energy. She's not a placid lump of rock with a bit of a molten core and some nice trees and a bit of rivers, you know. She is a huge object hurtling through space, and she has the Van Allen belts, she has all these things surrounding her that reflect solar storms, that keep meteors at bay, that keep the moon in, help the moon keep in orbit, all the things that we as a species have evolved over millennia to live in. Now, when we separate that off from ourselves and we get stuck in this getting up, clean my teeth, go to work, strive, journal, try and pay the bills, look after the kids, we get stuck in this scarcity mindset and small-mindedness. We keep ourselves in a small world. And when we're struggling to create from within this little box, there's no room to maneuver. So we need to connect ourselves to these wider forces. Now, as a geomancer, I study the cosmic flows of the earth, if you like, and everywhere has energy. And the reason that I did this, and I will get onto all this, and the reason why I did that was ever since I have been a small child, I have been able to see earth energy, auras, chakras, wonderful geometrical shapes of earth energy. And I noticed that at certain sites, certain things happen, these certain sites being ancient sacred sites. So mankind recognised that certain energy flows and certain geological features created a particular environment. And that environment, it was all about creating health and harvest on every level. Mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritual. We were healthy and we reaped the harvest of being in a healthy state. And nowadays we can transfer that into creating an abundant lifestyle in the monetary system that we have, which is simply a transfer of energy. But we're no longer going out into the fields, well, many of us, and planting crops and raising cattle. And don't get me wrong, I've worked in agriculture for many years to helping them do this. But for many women now, it's about creating an abundant lifestyle and being free to be women and having wealth and having pay and having, you know, self-esteem and worth and a voice and creating a difference in the world, because women move money around differently. So geomancy is this ancient study, and many of you will be familiar with geomancy because feng shui is the eastern form of geomancy, but there are many, many others throughout the ancient world, but they all connect us to the energy of the natural earth and the natural cosmos. So geomancy is all about doing the right thing in the right place at the right time. And I go a little bit more in depth in that because I actually connect to the consciousness of these energies, nature spirits, elemental beings, divas, all those kind of things, because I've always been able to talk to them, see them ever since I was a child. So what we're going to look at today is about the learning outcome number 1, which is what it means to be living in an environment that is blocking external abundance. We're going to move on tomorrow to look at blocking internal abundance, which is your self-worth, your health, and all those other kind of things. Today we're concentrating on why is it that you're not attracting clients or money or opportunities, all those things that need to come from the external world. So you've done all the internal work, you know, have you been journaling? Have you got your vision board? Have you been staying high vibe? Have you been setting your intentions? Have you been tracking your money? Have you been tapping? Have you been doing your new moon affirmations? All those things, but somehow it's still not coming together. And this will be when there is a blocking energy. So there are many, many forms of energy. Don't get me wrong. You know, there are many, many forms of energy and many, many fields emitted by the earth. You know, we talk about geomagnetic fields emitted by the earth as if it's one thing. It's a plethora of fields. There are lots of fields within the GMF spectrum that are emitted by the earth. One of the crucial ones being the Schumann resonance. And this is the resonant frequency of our brainwaves. So our brain lives in harmony with the earth. Recent years we've been seeing massive spikes in the Schumann resonance, which has left people feeling less than safe and secure a lot of the time. We can have moods that come up and go, oh God, I don't feel right, and what's going on? And it's actually because our brain waves are having to exist in a different state than normal, and that confuses our neurochemistry, which then confuses how we feel. And we can feel suddenly, oh God, why do I feel terrible? What's going on? There's some deep internal problem that I haven't dealt with. Actually, it's the earth causing those feelings, not us. And you simply have to ride them out. They're a little bit of a trigger for us to look at things that we may have to deal with, yes. But some days it's just the earth's throwing a bit of a wobbler and we just need to ride it out and take it easy on ourselves. So, what's Wendy got? Oh, hello Hazel as well. Sorry, I haven't been saying good morning to everybody. Let me refresh the page. Oh, me and technology. I love technology, but when I've actually got to speak and use technology, 2 halves of the brain just really don't go together. It's just not happening. So let me just see. So what does Wendy say about blocked energies? Da, 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 da. Now the page won't refresh. La, 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 la. Wendy, what does she say? Blocked. Oh, this is me at present. I know I'm doing the right thing, about to change my business, but I keep feeling such negative pulls. Fear. How do I just trust and let go? Yes. Now that's another thing we're also told, isn't it, in all this law of attraction? Just trust and let go, and all will be well, you know, and there'll be little sparkly lights and everything will be wonderful. But it's not actually that simple. What happens with the energy around us we exist in all these different fields. Now I'm going to approach it from a very basic point of view here. Let's say, even if you break all those different fields down, there are two types of energy. There's positive and there's negative, or there's masculine and there's feminine, or there's sun and moon, or there's fire and water, whichever way you want to look at it. But one of them is positive and it's more about being out there in the world, and the other one is more what we would call negative and feminine. It's all about your internal workings. Now this is really, really interesting when we look at, I'm going to go back a little bit to how ancient man used to use these sites. Now when ancient sacred sites have been studied, and they have been studied in relation to psychic experiences or our quantum awareness or receiving messages or intuition or premonitions, and we know that these things occur much more easily at ancient sacred sites all around the world. The reason being that most of these sacred sites are located within a stone's throw of fault lines under the earth. Some can be big and some can be small, but they are located near massive fault lines. And the reason being that these fault lines create fluctuations in the normal geomagnetic fields of the earth. So the earth is responsible for enhancing our quantum manifestation state. And then within that, those sacred sites were divided into two. There were the ones that existed on the high places, in the open plains, above ground. And in those places, people tend to have experiences about things that were happening out there in the world, premonitions, or knowing that something was going to happen. In the other places, when the sacred sites were in the lowland, or you had to go into chambers, like chamber cairns, or other places underground into caves, we have a different experience because a different neurochemical reaction occurs. And in those places, we had experiences that were internal to us. We saw things about our own life and our own fate and things that were going to happen, how we felt we needed to be. And people nowadays who've studied have had those kind of experiences. There's no reason to suspect this hasn't been universal, or this is kind of a universal system that exists around the world, because there are always sacred high places on high ground, and there have always been sacred low places in valleys, in caverns, in caves and underground. And the two brain chemistry reactions to those, and neurochemical reactions to the two places, are very, very different. Now, if we take the high ground energy, let's call that the male fire dragon, the masculine, the all the energy that is out there in the world. When that becomes blocked in our environment, and it becomes blocked by human activity most of the time. So in the Western world, where we've got a lot of infrastructure and towns and roads, etc., we block, by our physical manipulation of the environment, we block these energy flows. And that means it can be really, really hard for us to attract external abundance, because when we think and we're trying to work out what we want, and we're setting our intentions and we're meditating and we're visualizing, our mind fields, those fields that extended to the farthest regions of the universe, don't have like a road network, a highway to travel on out into the universe, and they get stuck around us. Now I've been able to see auras and chakras and thoughts, if you like, all my life. So I was fascinated why some people in certain areas were successful in what they wanted to do, and other people in certain areas, despite wanting to do the same thing, geographical areas, achieved very, very different results. And I noticed from a very young age that it was because of these flows of energy. So what happens when we get in this environment of out there energy that becomes blocked is we cannot attract the clients. We're marketing away, we're doing everything that we can, we're struggling to achieve, we're vision boarding, we're doing all those things. Like I say, we're doing all those things, but we can't attract the soulmate, we can't attract the clients, we can't attract the money, we can't attract the opportunities and all those things that come to us from outside. So, whoops, I've lost my mouse to refresh the page again. So we can feel really, really stuck, really, really stuck. So one of the things we have to do then is to learn to activate that energy again. And it is possible for us to do this. This is what a geomancer does. Now, we can do little things ourselves, but we benefit most from the specialised hand of a practitioner, particularly someone like myself who can see energies, because it is a case of using almost alchemy to activate that energy again. What we're looking for particularly is substances that carry, we call paramagnetism. Now, I'd say this isn't necessarily woo. It looks woo when you're doing it, but it's not actually woo. So what is paramagnetism? I hear you all cry because you're all fascinated. We're all familiar with ferromagnetism, and this is magnetism in metal. Paramagnetism is the magnetism of rock. Now, anyone who's familiar with ancient sacred sites, whether they be the pyramids or Stonehenge, you know, they are made from not one type of rock, obviously, but they are all made from rocks that carry high charges of paramagnetism. And this is an electrical current that comes up the earth and into the rocks. Now, fascinating studies on this have shown that when we have paramagnetic rocks in our environment thrives. Plants grow better, root structure is better, absorption of water is better, sound travels differently through the air, the light quality is altered. You can even create small eco-climates within certain areas by using paramagnetic rocks. So one of the ways of shifting the energy of abundance in your area is to actually use rocks. So ancient man put up standing stones, obelisks, stone rows, stone circles, and these rocks were often moved over large areas because they were looking for paramagnetic rock. So as a geomancer, what I would be looking for is a pertinent place to place something that carries the paramagnetism of your environment and turns it back on. Now, this can be done very, very simply. It doesn't mean you might have a 17-foot standing stone in your back garden. What can often be done is very simple techniques, so you wouldn't even notice there's anything in there, because the paramagnetism of the earth is carried through many common substances today, believe it or not. So what you'll be looking for is what the geomancer, as I would call it, would be a power center. And this is a particular formation of earth energy, and they are very common, they are everywhere. But what we do when we build houses and build our infrastructure is we shut them down. And then we're in an environment where we've got very little energy functioning. So what we have to do is we have to activate the paramagnetism in our environment again by putting up a modern equivalent of a standing stone. But these can be extremely discreet. You can put them up in your garden, you can even put them up in your house, and no one will know they're there. And that is what taps into this external energy that enables us to attract abundance. So it's a bit of magic, bit of alchemy, bit of science, bit of all sorts of things tied up in geomancy. But you know, there's alchemy and science and magic occurs all around us in the natural world. You know, everything from, you know, a seed germinating to, you know, the sun rising is in excess a huge scientific feat of magic and alchemy. So we need to activate. So who else apart from Wendy feels they're living in a place that isn't abundant? Because when we're in those places, as I say, we're told to relax and let go and release all the fear, and it will happen if we have faith. But it won't if the energy of our environment is mismatched, if we're not in a harmonious place. So attracting external abundance requires us to activate this powerful energy that enables us to attract external abundance. And then we can be also in a similar environments that block our internal wealth and happiness, that we don't feel good about ourselves. Our health can suffer. And these are very, very real effects. This is what we call geopathic stress. And one of the things, if you move to a house, for instance, as I say, the earth is full of fields. And if you move to a place where you feel less than well, some of the symptoms of geopathic stress, it's called. We may not know what causes it all, but we do definitely know that it's there. And geopathic stress is caused, you know, the Earth is a living being. Sorry, I've gone off track. The Earth is a living being and has its own energy field. And as I say, this Earth is partly magnetic, it's partly many other things. And there is balance is necessary in these energies for us to restore and for us to have optimum health and well-being in all areas of our life. And when this natural field is distorted or disrupted, then these fields can become harmful or block our ability to manifest. And this is what is known as geopathic stress. And this is what geomancers often work with. We've got stuck in an area where we can't manifest. Now, it's not just monetary, as I say, it's not just we can't attract the clients, we can't manifest. Geopathic stress has been intensely studied. This is not a new concept, it's not necessarily a woo concept. It has been studied extensively. And just some of the physiological effects of geopathic stress are that the body fails to absorb nutrients, for instance. We have an impaired release of melatonin from the pineal gland. And anybody who saw my post yesterday knows how important brain chemistry is. Serotonin and melatonin are actually really crucial to our physical and mental and spiritual well-being. Serotonin and melatonin are released, serotonin in the day, melatonin at night. So if we're in an area of geopathic stress, we often can't sleep. We can't sleep. Who can function when we can't sleep? I can't. Bad night's sleep and I'm crawling around on the floor. It affects our digestive system, our blood pH, our automatic nervous system, our immune system, our nervous synapses. It affects so many functions in the body. We just cease to function very well because our body is designed to function on healthy places in the earth. And when those healthy places are removed, when we live in places of geopathic stress, when we live in cities, when we live in areas of huge light pollution, where we live in areas where we have a lot of electrical equipment, it has a huge impact. And this has been, again, this has been studied intensely. Why do people in remote and really rural countries, why when they meditate, for instance, do they achieve a different state of consciousness than people in the Western world in cities who just never seem to get there? And it's because of our environment. So our environment is crucial to our ability to manifest, and it's crucial to our ability to attract abundance. And this isn't woo. This isn't made up some kind of woo, weird energy that we don't really know what it is. It's a little bit magic. This is our intimate neurobiological and physical connection to the earth. And it is our neuro and biological and physical connection that constantly affects our mindset. It constantly affects our mood, and it constantly affects our level of consciousness. So if we can't achieve the right mental state, the quantum state of manifestation, it can be that your environment is inhibiting the neurochemistry that will enable you to do that. And it's inhibiting it because the energy in your environment is blocked. So the first thing to do is power up your environment so that your body and your mind is in a place where you can manifest the stuff that you want. Otherwise, it's like sitting in the Gobi Desert praying for a glass of water to fall out the sky. It's just never going to happen. So who feels they're in a, I've been lecturing, sorry. Who feels they're in an area of abundance? Is there anybody other than Wendy who feels they're a bit stuck and a bit, my comments aren't refreshing. Let me just refresh those again. Sorry, it's Facebook, it's a joy, isn't it? And then it seems to take a while to refresh every time I do it. And yet my connection is good. Well, my connection's always good, you know. I'm just naturally gifted like that. It's called a decent hub. Right, okay, let's have a look at the comments. Okay, so what we need to do, as I say, is we need to power up that energy in our environment. So one of the easiest ways of testing whether the energy of your environment is blocked is simply to do a kinesiology muscle test. Now, I've done these before with people in my group. And for those of you who don't know how to do that, the easiest method is to link your thumb and forefinger and then link your other thumb and forefinger and to walk around your house. Now, when that link is strong. So you go into a room and you think about the environment, how you feel in there. Do you feel good? When that link is strong, that means that your hindbrain and your subconscious mind is able to send messages to your muscles to remain strong. If you walk into an environment, say near your computer or your TV or your wireless box, or in a room that you're not quite sure about, and you start to break, what that means is that your hindbrain, that is responsible for your physiological connection, your mind to muscle connection, the neural synapses are not firing. The electrical impulses are not getting from your brain to your body quick enough to keep that finger clenched. And that means that there is energy in your environment that is just hampering your brain function, and it's impeding that mind-body connection. And of course, we need that mind-body connection to manifest. So your task today is to go around your house or your garden, or your, even outside in the road, or anywhere you exist, or your office if you're working from an office, and to do a quick test. How adversely is your environment actually affecting you? Because if there's that break in the message from brain to body, it's just a little bit too slow, and that means there is something interfering with your mind and body connection, which is all part of the neurochemistry, the biology, the connection to your environment. So I'd love you to go around and post your comments and let me know how connected, what rooms or areas in your house. Is it your kitchen? Is it by your, is it by your desk? Is it, where are you spending time? Check your bedroom, where you're sleeping. Where are you being adversely affected by your immediate environment? Now, it could be, like I said, if you're spending a lot of time in the office, you can discreetly walk around under your desk, doing that little finger text. And you can do this at home. And particularly if you work from home, it's really important that you have an environment that is supporting you to be productive, to be focused, to achieve what you want to achieve. So quite in depth today, because it's important that we understand, I feel, this connection, that how we function is intimately connected to the earth, the sun, the moon, and many other things that I haven't covered today. But we've lost and forgotten all this knowledge. And it is both scientific and spiritual. A lot of spiritual teachings talk about this, but lo and behold, the science has come along and you've gone, do you know what? All that stuff we thought was woo and a bit out there, turns out it's right. And then we are intimately connected in our brain chemistry. The study of biophilia looks at this, our circadian rhythms, our body clocks, all governed by the cosmos. Nothing to do with us. It just happens without our knowledge. So when these connections break down, we start to exist in a lesser and lesser state of awareness. And it's harder and harder for us to achieve quantum states within our own awareness. And that is where we manifest from. We need to get into those states, and we can't do that if our environment is preventing us from doing it. And this is the problem with so many people's lives, because we live in cities, we live in big towns, we're surrounded by Wi-Fi, which is why the law of attraction does not work for so many people. So I'd love to hear your comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this is a bit of a, like I said, a bit of a precursor work for those who've already signed up to Abundance Energy Academy. But if you've not, the doors to the program are still open, but they close at midnight on Sunday. Now, this is a unique program. The curriculum is rolled out over 14 weeks. So every 2 weeks, one of the 7 modules will be released. And I will go through, you will get a one-to-one overview of your property and your environment by me. And then we will go through all the different types of energy, well, mostly the yin and the yang energy in your property, and how that changes over the seasons, over the years. So you can learn to work with those flows of energy. You will get set techniques to harmonize that energy and also to enhance it so that you can the best that it can be, much like ancient man did when he, made the Serpent Mound in Ohio, and Stonehenge, and Göbekli Tepe, and Sedona, and Karnak, and all these great places where we try to enhance our environment. but you can do that very simply and easily at home, and you will have the tools and techniques to do that. You get access to the Facebook group so that even after the 14 weeks of the program, you're in this group forever, and you can continue to ask questions and support each other, and I will be in there as well. So this is a 14-week program, but you're in there forever. Once you've gone through the curriculum, it's there for you forever. So when you move, when you change jobs, whatever, you will have this knowledge at your fingertips to just do it all over again and make your environment the best that you can be. Now, doors close on Sunday, and I know for some people this will be a bit woo and a bit out there, and I know also there'll be some people ready out there to come and work with me. As I say, geomancy is not a one-size-fits-all solution, which is why you submit to me individually, like floor plans of your house and your environment, and I will go through those with you, because I'm able to remotely tune into anywhere in the world. I can see energy from anywhere. So I will tell you what energy is in your house, how it's affecting you, and then what you need to do to enhance it. So this is a unique, never been done before program. This is some of the stuff that I do with my one-to-one clients. But obviously that's a major, that's a bigger financial commitment. Working with me one-to-one costs £10,000 upwards for 6 months. So this program, you're going to be in it for 14 weeks with me, but then you get lifetime access. So you will get access to me, and you'll get access to all the key tools you need to harmonise your environment. Now it's available now, you can book now, though you can pay the one-off of 1997 UK pounds, or you can pay over 6 months for 397, or you can pay over 12 months for 222, so that it doesn't have to be such a major financial burden for you. But you know, if you're committed to making the environment that you want the best it can be, so that your body and your mind can thrive and flourish, and you can understand your connection and you can enhance your connection to the environment, then this could be the thing that you're looking for that's prevented you, that your energy around you has been what's been preventing you from achieving your success. So I hope to see you in there, but if not, do join me tomorrow for day 2. I will try and be a bit more succinct, but I really wanted to give you proper information, not fluffy stuff, not stuff where people saying, you know, there's too much fluff for me, because I'm extremely woo, I'm also extremely nerdy and scientifically minded as well. So yes, I can go off and have altered states of consciousness, and yes, I talk to elemental beings and divas, but I also like to try and find out the science of how that on earth that is actually possible. And there is so much stuff on the internet now that just encourages us to have blind faith and just relax and let go. Yes, we need to do that, but we can only do that when our environment is in a suitable place for us to do that. Our goals and our dreams are like little seeds, and those seeds, intentional seeds, get planted into this energetic environment. Now, if you're planting it onto concrete or barren soil, there is nowhere they're going to grow. If you're planting it into an energetically fertile environment, then you will see growth, and you can nurture them, then it will blossom, and then finally you will reap the harvest of your rewards. And this is what geomancy is all about. This is what ancient sacred sites are all about. They're about creating health and harvest. And it will work for you, it will enhance your home, it will enhance your business, it will enhance the health of you and your family. There are many, many benefits to it. Plus, it taps you into an element of spirituality that you may not be familiar with. It starts tapping you in to the spirituality and consciousness of Gaia herself in all its forms, whether that be energy within the landscape, whether that be nature spirits, whether that be the spirit of your home, of the spirit of your business. It starts tapping into that journey, which is where I normally work with my high-end clients, where we really tap into the spirits of nature and its consciousness and help get divas to help us manifest. But Abundance Energy Academy is for those people who aren't there yet. They're just realising that things aren't going very well and they can't bloody understand why. And I can guarantee you it will be the energy of your environment that's preventing you from manifesting. So I do hope you'll join me tomorrow for day 2, because we're going to be looking tomorrow a bit more about what are we going to be looking at tomorrow? We're going to be looking at more in depth at this internal energy and how the geology, if you like, of the land that we're on also affects us in other ways. This is particularly related to the energy of internal abundance. This is when we are struggling with our health, we're struggling with our mental and emotional well-being, and this is directly related to other geological features under the ground. So we're going to be looking more at that tomorrow. And then, you know, as we go, and then on day 3, we're going to looking at how to apply these principles within your life so that you can understand these ebbs and flows of energy, and why that's creating leaks in your bank account, why you're not being able to call in your dream partner or attract high vibe clients, why you're just not feeling strong, why you're feeling, God, why can't I do this? These are all things that are symptomatic of a blocked energy in our environment if we've done all the internal work and we're trying our hardest. So, hope to see you tomorrow at 11. As I say, quite in depth today. Haven't skimped on the, let's all do a Facebook Live of all light and fluffy information and give you quick hacks now, because some things require us to engage our brain. Some things require us to go a little bit deeper. It's, you know, quick fixes are all very well, but if we really want to unlock our capabilities and understand who we are and how connected we are, which really unlocks our power to manifest, then we have to engage the little grey cells. We have to start embodying and thinking about our connection to the universe in a way that's just a little bit more in depth than some other stuff we see on Facebook. So I hope you've got value out of that. Oh, hello, Cheryl. I didn't see you've joined late. Yeah. So join me tomorrow. If you've got comments after this, because I know the content has been a little bit, if you've got comments, just continue to put them on and I will be answering them. I'm actually, you know, I'll answer them before tomorrow for the rest of the day. Can't guarantee when, but I will answer them because I've got commitments today. So, but do let me know if any of this rings true to you. You know, how do you feel in your home? Have you been in places or offices where you just feel like drained the minute you walk into the door? Not necessarily because you sat next to Colin the energy vampire, you know, bores you to death every 5 minutes. But because you know, it just doesn't feel good to you. And this can be because of the environment, because people are swamped by EMF fields. We can be swamped by interruptions in geomagnetic forces. It can be poor light quality, it can be poor sound quality. There are lots of things in modern buildings that interfere with our neurochemistry, and that prevents us from manifesting the things that we want. And obviously I'm not advocating going living in a mud hut in the middle of nowhere, unless of course you want to. If that's your thing, that's fine, but we can easily shift around the energy in our environment to make it feel good again. Right, so hope to join you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. And you, Cheryl. Yes, hope to see you tomorrow. So go around your house, as I say, this afternoon or this evening or whatever time you're in, and do a quick kinesiology muscle test and see where your fingers, you can't hold your fingers together, and there'll be something in that environment. And some of these energies are very specific because some of them relate to flows of underground water as well, and so they're quite specific in nature, which is why we use geomancy, because it's very specific and it's prescriptive to each location. So those of you who'll be joining on Me Abundance Energy Academy are not getting some kind of solution that's out there that fits everybody. It's unique to your home and where you live. The solutions are unique to you and your home and nobody else's. So hope to see you tomorrow. If you got any comments, do put them in. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, and just be conscious, you know that there is abundant energy all around you that manifests all the time. Look outside your window, you know, trees, birds, skies, things are being manifested every second. And if we can just tap into where we live and enhance that one, we can do exactly the same. We are part of this divine, gorgeous cosmos, And we really need, particularly women, we really need to start tapping into this sacred feminine power we have that connects us intimately to nature. And I don't just mean trees, I mean the whole of the universe is natural, nature in all its forms. And then that puts us in a position where we feel good, we feel powerful, and we're able to manifest. So join me tomorrow for day 2, and we'll be going a little bit more in depth. So, you know, take some notes, but all this is based on both spirituality and science, because I like a balance of both personally. So, see you all soon. Take care. Bye.